What up, YouTube? It's me, the one and only Oni. How's everyone doing today? Good, I hope so. Alright, today we're back with Flak. This is a revision of the Beastmaster build that I put out previously. I was wrong about the way one of the perks worked, or one of the skills worked, and I will address that once I get there. This video almost isn't even necessary because the build is going to function the exact same way, but I don't want to have a guilty conscience of having false information out there. And in this video, I'll just go a little more into depth about other possible options that you can have as far as skills are concerned, and there will be slight adjustments in this build. So with that being said, let's get into it. Quick side note, but it's kind of relevant. This is the build that I will be using when I play Flak. I plan on playing with friends, so I want to play more of a support role along with having a powerful beast. So if you're not really too concerned about the same type of build, I understand, but stay tuned because I'll give you the other options as far as where to allocate your skill points. And yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. All right, starting off, we're gonna start off with Fadeaway and the Spider Ant pet. The reasoning for this is because you're gonna have a health regen bonus with the Spider Ant pet, and Fadeaway is gonna give you health regen also in a moment of need, plus a lot of damage on a particular boss. In this game, Flak's specialty does seem to be single target DPS, high boss damage is a simpler translation. So Fadeaway helps contribute to that, and like I said, the passive health regeneration once you activate it is going to be useful. Because I want to play a support and have health regen as a passive for me and my allies, I'm going to go into self-repairing systems. I'm going to put 5 points into here. If you don't care too much about supporting allies, go into Furious Attack. This is going to be great for DPS. If you're playing a solo build, this might be better. It's still good to keep your pet nice and healthy, but you know, this is a personal, this is a choice on how you want to play the game. If you want to do more damage, go with Furious Attack. If you want to be more of a assistance and support, go self-repairing systems. From here, our tier 2 perk is going to be All My BFFs. I'm not going to pick up Gorillas in the Mist yet. The only exception is if you have an exceptionally powerful let's say assault rifle or some sort of automatic weapon that the decreased crit damage can still make up for because of the incredible fire rate and maybe even high magazine size. Unless you have that, that would be the only time to pick this up over just having a very powerful sniper rifle with Fadeaway. So if you have that, or if you'd rather use that, go ahead and get Gorillas in the Mist now, but either way we'll be picking it up later. So we're going to go into All My BFFs. Allies share 50% of Flak's health regeneration while your pet gets double the amount, right? Twice the amount of health regen. This is going to be good for my allies and my pets. All right. From here, we're actually, in my previous build, I had us going into Eager to Impress. At first, after some revision, I think I'll go 2 points into Sikkim. What this is going to do is it's going to give attack command damage to your pet. And once you get these 2 points, it's going to lead perfectly to you having the Beefcake Jabber. I do not know how this guy is going to work, but early game, he might be pretty efficient. He's going to be real close range, real in the fray, hopefully taking some aggro off of you. I don't know what his health will look like, but he's going to be able to hit really hard, and the attack command being having extra damage and a cooldown is going to be beneficial, especially until you spec into Eager to Impress. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and hit Turntail and Run as the first perk to take on your tier 3. This is great. Health regeneration, damage reduction while moving, while standing still, gun damage, fire rate. Good stuff. It's nothing but beneficial for the build. From here, you need to allocate 2 more points to get to the next tier. Eager to Impress is a good option for both, if not at least 1 point. And your other option could be Sikkim. I recommend going these two just to buff up your pet. But if you're in a solo build, you might want to consider Overclock just to increase your fire rate. That way you could do more damage. Or actually, at this point, you might be able to even put some points into self-repairing system just to give yourself a little bit of sustain if you're playing solo. Me, I'm going to go ahead and put the points into Eager to Impress. I want more cooldowns for my Fadeaway. This allows for more damage and more sustain, all in one action skill. Alright, so next, we're going to go ahead and pick up basically both of these. I'm going to go with Hidden Machine first. The idea behind this is that it's all about damage, right? Now, initially, you know what? Let's go and take the Fast and the Furious, because initially it'll be more damage for the 3 points that are spent, And then after that, obviously at max skill, at max 5 points, you're going to get more damage. But this is only relevant when it comes to fadeaway or when someone isn't aiming at you, which could be a lot of the time, considering your pet. Okay, so once you pick up these two, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with my original. I'm gonna go with my original build, which was going to hidden machine first. And the reason, now that I remember, is because you'll have hidden machine, and then you'll be able to get unblinking eye, which means you can get gorilla in the midst, and that's gonna, and these three, or these two augments plus hidden machine are gonna synergize very well with fadeaway. And then from here you can go ahead and go into the Fast and the Furious to just for more damage. Next, we have a choice to make. If you want more health regeneration, Rage and Recover is gonna be your choice. I discussed this in the last video. I do not feel like you will be benefiting from this perk nearly as much. It says that the health regen will be based off your missing health. As Flak, you should not be missing too much health. Your pet should be doing a lot of the tanking. You should be putting out so much damage that a lot of enemies are not able to damage you. Also, because a lot of this revolves around your health staying above 50%. I'm sorry. Okay. A lot of this revolves around your health staying above 50%. You might want to consider something maybe like a turtle shield, something with really high shield capacity. That way your health is not touched. It takes longer to get to your health. So because of that, I'm not going to take Rage and Recover. It really doesn't seem that good. Maybe a slight adjustment might be needed for this. You know, this is a kill skill, so it's not like self-repairing systems. That's a passive. I see nothing wrong with the kill skill providing another benefit to health regeneration, passive health regeneration based off of max health. It doesn't have to be the same percentage based, but you know, maybe they could make up for the what is now confirmed nerf on health self-repairing systems. It used to be 2%, now it's 1.5%. This is confirmed. If I'm a good editor, I'll go ahead and just put a brief little screenshot to confirm that. Anyway, so that being said, I'm not going to take Rage and Recover. You can if you want to. It's possible this might be necessary. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure how the game is going to work. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and max out Sikkim, and then put the rest of the points into Eager to Impress, which is just 1. Okay, from here we get the power inside. This is just pure damage bonus. All right. The damage is doubled if you're at full health, which you should be. That's what this whole tree is mainly built around being. All right, going invisible in a bad moment, killing the enemies while you're invisible, the health regen, you know, having your pet being able to swing, all that is contributing to you staying at full health, which will allow you to do 50% more damage as well as your pet. From here, we're gonna go ahead and move to the master tree. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that quite right now. I was thinking of something. Sorry, guys. Ferocity. Go ahead and put all 5 points into it this time. In the previous build, I had 4 points into here and 1 point into Go for the Eyes. But we're going to put 5 points into Ferocity now for max pet damage. From here, we're going to go into Frenzy. As soon as you have Frenzy fully stacked, go ahead and switch over to Gamma Burst and Atomic Aroma. You can go ahead and put Empathic Rage just to fill out your augment slots to make Gamma Burst a little more worth it over Fadeaway. But you also don't have to do this, as this will not be the second action skill augment that we're going to take. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take Who Rescued Who? So the name popped up. Who Rescued Who? This is more health regen, keeping you and your pet alive. Your pet essentially gets 5% lifesteal from the damage that you do. So this is great sustain for your pet. This is just going to make your pet stronger, be able to take a lot more aggro, a lot more damage for you. That way you don't have to worry about doing that yourself. So 2 other options here are Persistence Hunter and He Bites. He Bites might be worth having 1 point spec'd into if the reflection damage can help stack Frenzy. If not, it's probably not. But this is something that needs to be researched. I definitely plan on checking this out when I first play Flak. I don't know if Flak will be my first playthrough anymore. I'm really having a character crisis between him and Zane. I really don't know, but if Flak is, I will make sure to report on this as soon as possible, because I want to know. And if it does contribute to Frenzy stacks, well, that is honestly great. We won't really need Atomic Aroma too much, although it will still be useful. But the idea that people that are shooting guns at the pet that are nowhere near the pet, that damage being reflected counting towards frenzy stacks could be very powerful. The other one is Persistence Hunter, the other option at this point. Increases flex gun damage and action skill duration. There's nothing really wrong with this. Oh, by the way, guys, let me just say, if during the playthrough you pick up class mods that are benefiting any of these that aren't part of the standard build, it will not hurt you at all to just take 1 point out of something, anything really, and put it into the other skill that is being affected by the class mod. It's overall going to be probably a little bit better. But at that same note, you probably want to look for class mods that are going to cater towards ferocity, towards, you know, Sikkim, Eager to Impress, or even the health regen, things like that. So sorry for getting off topic, but just wanted to bring that up. So yeah, if you want more gun damage, more action skill duration, which will allow gamma burst to be up more often, which essentially means your pet's going to be up for longer. In that more, I think it's a state of buff. You know, the pet comes out, you know, bigger, so hopefully that means like more health and more damage. I don't know if it actually doesn't say anything about that, but you never know, it might be a thing. As for me, I'm not going to really go Persistence Hunter. The only difference is the gun damage that would make. The only difference that it makes for me is the gun damage. 12% doesn't really seem too worth it. As far as duration, you're just going to stick with endurance for duration, all right? It's going to, every kill that you or your pet get is going to extend the duration. So, you know, action skill duration, not really worth it. Although this could be considered if you're going to go into maybe something like a fadeaway or something of that nature. Anyways, in the last video, right about here, I went into Barbaric Yop. I thought the way that this worked was that when it said, I literally read increases the power of pet bonuses and just stopped reading. And when I thought pet bonuses, I was like, is it referring to anything that applies to a pet? That was my thought process. I should have read it all the way through, and it says pet bonuses granted to Flak. I am 99% positive now that what this refers to is the actual pet bonuses granted to Flak. Right here you see at the bottom it says 5% damage. That is the pet bonus granted to Flak based off of the pet, right? So what it does is turn 5% damage into 10% damage. I do not see this ever being useful. I do not see it ever being useful. There's no reason to take this at 5 points nonetheless. It's just not worth it ever. So it goes from being what I thought was an incredibly OP skill to probably the second most useless skill, arguably the first most useless skill in the master tree. Okay, so instead we go for mutated defenses and psycho head on a stick. This is great sustainability, and this just gives your pet a little more damage, which we're trying to compensate for because of the way I thought this worked. And then from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and you have several choices you can make, right? You can have damage share. You could put a point into maybe heat bites. If heat bites procs atomic aroma, put a point into. Oh, I'm sorry, procs frenzy and who rescued you, put a point into it. But me, until I figure that out, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest into go for the eyes. What this is going to allow is for your pet to do an automatic critical hit. It's important to note that the first melee attack is an automatic critical hit. So don't worry about radiation first hitting an enemy and that proccing go for the eyes. Okay, so that being said, understand that your pet still has a chance to crit. It still has a crit chance, and every time it does crit, it's going to be doing an increased 75% damage on the crit. So that's really good. This would be the final build after the playthrough. Oh, also we're gonna switch to Iridian Skag. The whole concept around this build was that you use your Gamma Burst to put your I don't know why it does that sometimes. You use your Gamma Burst to put your pet into position. You use the attack command for the Iridian Skag to pull in nearby enemies. I have seen the way the Iridian Skag singularity works, and the Skag seems to spoiler territory, but you know, it's a singularity effect, so it kind of speaks for itself, right? But what it does is it does pull enemies in, and there's seems to be a little burst of damage that happens. It doesn't look like significant damage, it looks more like utility, but it does do damage. So it should be proccing frenzy depending on how many enemies were pulled, and then the atomic aroma, and then if he bites, you know, there should be plenty of ways to get frenzy stacked. Frenzy is going to be really good on this build. Now this is how I will build to level 50, but once I get to level 50, there might be a couple of things changed, and I want to point out what will be changed for me. And if you want to make the same changes, I'll explain why I'm making these changes. And if you don't want to, I'll explain what is best for this build. For this particular build at level 50, since you have Sikkim, it will be best to use the Beefcake Jabber, in my opinion. The Beefcake Jabber His attack command, he summons a melee weapon to deliver a powerful attack that knocks enemies back. All right, this is going to be a powerful attack. It is going to proc go for the eyes. Okay, in turn, it's going to automatically reset the cooldowns of his attack command, allowing him to smack another enemy. And you want Sikkim for this one because it's going to increase the amount of damage that he is doing. All right, so if you want the Beefcake Jabber, I recommend the Beefcake Jabber for this. The reason why you don't want Gunslinger Jabber for this particular build at level 50 is because the attack command is a rocket launcher, and Go for the Eyes only procs on melee attacks. Okay, so this is the build that is most efficient at level 50. The way we have built, you want the Beefcake Jabber, but since I am not using the Beefcake Jabber, all I am simply going to do is allocate these 3 points. I'm going to put 2 of them into Eager to Impress and probably 1 point into Furious Attack. If he bites, procs Frenzy, I will take that point out of Furious Attack and put it into He Bites, and I will be using the Iridian Skag. That will be my final build. That the only difference is Sikkim. I don't think the Iridian Skag Singularity will be doing enough damage to warrant Sikkim. All the damage will be coming from Go for the Eyes, as well as all the other passive damage. We have 50%. We have 50%, optimistically speaking, if you activate it at full health. We have 50% right here. We have another 50% from Ferocity, that's 100%. We have 40% from Max Frenzy Stacks, that's 140%. We have an extra 10% off of a Hunter Kill, which is 150. And we have a potential 50% also right here. So we're at 200%. I believe there is another bonus somewhere that I am not taking into account. I believe I remember doing a calculation of a max of 210%, and I could have been wrong, and I might have been wrong, but you're at 200%, which essentially means that when you crit, you're going to be swinging for a total of 475%. So that's a pretty good amount of damage to be doing on an enemy once they've been pulled over to the pet, stacking everything like that with the Iridian Skag. If not, guys, if you choose to go with Beefcake Jabber, it's still going to essentially work the same. You're going to Gamma Burst into a group of enemies and then just have your Beefcake Jabber just swing at one of them, and hopefully a one-shot kills them. And the good thing about this is that you can choose. With the Beefcake Jabber, you can choose which enemy you want it to attack. So if you see an enemy that's already weak and you want it to be finished off, just let the Beefcake Jabber take care of him. It'll proc Eager to Impress, and that's gonna reduce your cooldown time significantly because the pets get a bonus to that. So in short, use Beefcake if you want more damage from the pet, and use the Iridian Skag if you want more utility. Okay, right now this particular build is set up better for the Beefcake Jabber, and just to re-emphasize, it is because of Sikkim. Sikkim is the only real difference. Okay, in a build without the Beefcake Jabber, you're going to take 2 points from here, put them into Eager to Impress, and put the last point either into Furious Attack or He Bites. He Bites, if we can confirm as soon as possible whether or not it procs Frenzy, we want He Bites. Alright guys, so that's the revised Beastmaster build. I'm sorry it took so long, I've been busy with school. I'm not sure if I'll be making another build before Borderlands 3 comes out. I have looked over Amara and Moses builds, and there's nothing. Amara is something that she's a character I don't think I'll be going too much into, but I have a good friend of mine that will be playing Amara, and he's a big Borderlands fan, so he's gonna know how to build and what's most efficient. And once he gets a really good build online, I'll probably use his gameplay and have him tell me the reasoning behind it, and I'll make a video for you guys back whenever that happens. As far as Moes, in my opinion, the only builds that I would play as Moes have already been put out there. I know that for a fact. I have seen them, so there seems to be no point in that. But that being said, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the revised video. I hope I'm not wrong about anything, but if I am, correct me down below. I don't want to be giving out false information. If I am going to be wrong, I will admit to it, and I will let people know that, hey, this is wrong, just like I did in my previous video. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.